Hello everyone, this is Zachary again. Today I just have another Go game review. This one is a very famous game that most likely any of you guys that have been playing Go for even a little while probably have heard of. It's called the Red Earring Game between Hohenbusch, or actually this time he wasn't actually Hohenbo, sorry, my pronunciation isn't around that. Yasuda Shusaku and Inoue Inseki were the two players at this time. At this time, Shusaku was pretty young. He was only a 4 dan, and Inseki was an 8 dan. And Inseki was considered to be one of the strongest players of that time. It was played around in the 1840s, and they had started a game earlier that they were playing. Shusaku was only in his teens at this time, and Shusaku started with a 2-game 2-stone handicap, and they got about 70 moves through the game or so, and then Inseki called it off and said that Shusaku was too strong to play with 2 handicap stones. So they redid the game again, and this time only with Shusaku with just playing black. And at this time period there was no komi, so it was kind of like he had a 1-stone handicap. Although it was kind of normal during that time period. It's also a saying that Shusaku almost never lost when he played as black. This was also partly because there was no komi. And so anyways, the reason this game is so famous is, probably most of us know, is the one move that happens in the middle of the game that I'll be showing later, but also because it was very brilliantly played throughout the game, and I hope to show those aspects as well. And if I do make any mistakes, please correct me, because I am only like a high IQ player, and these were 2 very good professional players, so if I do make any mistakes, please correct me. Anyways, I'll go ahead and start the game now. So like I said, Shusaku was black. He went ahead and took the 3-4 point on the top right corner. And then it just went pretty normal. White took top left, and then black took dual 4-4 points, which is very common during that time, considering black did have the advantage since he was playing first. Might as well just play for territory, get as much territory as you can. Influence wasn't as much of a style during that time period. And then white went ahead and approached right away, which is a little bit more of a faster even maybe influential type of approach. But this is also fine for white to do. And then black went ahead and ignored and just played away, which is also fine. And then white just took a big enclosure. This lends a little bit of strength to this stone. It makes this point also quite nice. This is like a kind of a mini Kobayashi. This stone wasn't there, black would want to play here. So from this point, black himself just encloses, which is a little bit strange actually. I personally wouldn't want to do this because it would seem to give white a very nice point right here, like I just said. And this enclosure, usually you want to make something over here, but with this stone right here, it's a little bit harder to develop this side. I'm supposing he wanted to lend a little bit of strength just to this side right here, and maybe later be able to develop this side. But of course I don't want to say anything bad about this move because I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it, it's just an enclosure. I just wouldn't like it personally. Then white just approached this stone also. Sometimes it's not always a good idea to keep on playing on one stone because if black keeps on playing away, you could get over-concentrated if you really want to kill a stone, and later black still has Aji to try to live. So sometimes it's a good idea just to keep on playing away and make black fix his own weaknesses, because he can't fix them all if you keep on approaching his stones. So then black plays a move that he played very often. It was even called the Shusaku move because he played it so often, and it was this diagonal play right here with this approach. This move isn't played quite as often today for two reasons. One being white doesn't really need to respond to this move because it doesn't really hurt the stone. Because if black, let's say white plays away somewhere, then black has a few options. He can try to close the stone like this, and if he does do that, then white can just push out and he's fine. Or maybe even just directly jump out like this. If he wants to pincer in one of two ways, white can still just jump out, and he has the option of going under or possibly attaching also. So it would be very, very difficult to kill the stone or even hurt it that much. And considering there's 3 stones on one, it seems a little bit over-concentrated considering that you're not doing too much damage to the stone. So it is still a very nice move though because it's very strong. You are able to extend very far because you are so strong, and it's a very steady way of play. So it's still played pretty often. It's just not as common as before. Also because the fact that there is Komi now. So because black is the advantage, generally you want to be strong and you want to make solid points, and so that's what's nice about this move. It's more common to do this though now because leaves a little bit more weaknesses, a little bit more things for white to do, but it creates a bigger area that black can try to get points off of, which is nice for the Komi, and that's basically why this isn't played as much as something like this or pincering or whatever. Anyways, so this was what happened in the game, and then white played something that if you're a Q player, you really never want to see, and that's the Taisha. The Taisha has, I believe, more variations than the Avalanche, and if you don't know what the Avalanche is just when you have like an attachment like this, and white plays down, oh sorry, like this. This is the Avalanche, and the Avalanche has thousands of variations, and it's very complicated. And I do believe the Taisha is even more complicated, which is why I said if you're a Q player, you never want to see it, because as Q players, we generally try to stay clear of things that are overly complicated. We try to do joseki that we know and we know we can do well and stuff. And when we see this, it's not very nice because there's tons and tons and thousands of variations for each player. If you ever do see this though, a very good approach to do if you don't know, the thousands of variations, or you don't want to get in overcomplicated situations, is just this Nobi, which looks a little bit strange, but it's actually just a fine move. There's only a few variations really that white can do. He can back off like this, and then black jumps out, and white extends. Very simple. Or white can also attach, or he can also, which is actually kind of overplays, do this, because if it goes like this, then white has 2 weaknesses to fix, and black has somewhat of a base in the corner. So if he fixes one weakness, black can attack this group, or he could just jump out and try to make more of a base for himself, and white would still need to fix this weakness. So also white would want this stone to be right here, so it does more towards this part of the board than this. So yeah, anyways, there's just do this Nobi right here if you ever do see the Taisha and you don't want to get into overcomplicated situations. If you want to see the other variations, just look online, try to find them, but they're very simple variations for the Taisha. Oops. Well, the variation that black chose was this connection, which is one of the ones that can definitely lead to a lot of variations. Then this is the most common, is just to go like this. And then black can connect this way, which is a little bit simpler. But I really don't want to go to all the variations of the Taisha, because, like I said, there's thousands of them. This is simpler, you can look into yourself. This is the one that's definitely more complicated. White cuts, black nobis, white goes down. If you do really want to know like why all of the moves and you're not completely understanding this Joseki, I would advise looking it up online, maybe downloading Kojo's Joseki Dictionary or something to look at it yourself, because I'd rather not go into all the variations. Then black just nobis this way, and then white has other options, but I'm just going to go through what's most common, and just making black nobi some more, then nobiing this way. And this, actually, right here, black makes a pretty, I'm not sure if it was completely extremely big, but it's definitely a mistake. The mistake they made was this push. So right here, what black should have done is played this way. The only time you ever want to make this push is when you don't have a ladder, and I'll show you why. So, normal variation is this way, and then if black doesn't have the ladder, then white would play this way. Oh my gosh, sorry. If he did have the ladder, you could just connect, but if he didn't, go like this. And then ladder. Now it looks like he doesn't have a ladder because of this, but if you read it out, once the white stones get to this point, black can ladder it down to the bottom. So you can read out the ladder for yourself, but black does have the ladder in this case. So because of that, black shouldn't have pushed here. He should have made this move right here, and I'll show you why. Get back to where it was. Now the reason black shouldn't have pushed right here is because white can do a double hane. Because if black tries to do this and take this stone, then white will simply take this whole group, and this will be really, really bad for black if he loses all of this. So black's really only choice at this point is a couple different options. The peaceful way is just to simply make a tiger's mouth here and live locally. Like this. But as you can see, there's a couple reasons why this is very bad for black. One, because he's very enclosed, very small, and he still has this group to worry about over here, and he's in Gote. So now black can spend his move to try to somehow attack this group if he wants to, or to spend it somewhere else. So this would be very bad for black. Of course, it's doable, but it's still not what black wants. So in the game, black didn't play this way. He did something that I thought was, well, this is something that takes a lot of very good reading, and he cut right here, which I would really never think of, and I'll show you why this was much better than going here. Also, I should mention this kind of does show the importance of knowing Joseki, even if you are a pro and you have great reading skills, you can still screw up on Joseki, which is why it's so good to know it. Anyways, so he cut, and this sets up a ko. And in this point in the game, black does have more ko threats, so this will be a better result for black. And I'll show you why this was, because I really wouldn't have been able to read all of this out. So then black goes here. White can't take the stone because then black will go here and then he'll live. So white has to play here. Oh, sorry. White has to stop him. And then black makes another move that I would never think of. And this is the move that sets with the ko, is this move. Obviously our first instinct would be to play here. The reason why is because, see, this is where the ko is right here. So it's better for white to first take the stone, because if he takes this, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a black stone. It's getting my stones mixed up. Sorry, I got off track. Oh, where was I again? Oh, yeah. White took here first, and then black just counter. Now white should not take the stone yet, because he'll be down one less ko threat, because now black will play here. Then if white sets up the ko again, he'll have one less ko threat. Reason being, black has this ko threat, and then white has none. A ko threat that he would have would be this move, and I'll show you why in a second. But that's no longer there, because if white makes this move, this group will still die. So black can take this stone, and now white has to come back, because if he doesn't, black will play here and then take all of these stones. So if he does come back though, black can simply cap him and now he's dead anyways. So this would really be very awful for white. It would be probably almost game over if white got all of these points and killed that huge group. So white can't take this stone. Not first anyways. So at this point, white needs to cut. Then black makes a ko, white takes a ko. Oh yeah, then this sequence is playing out where black has this ko threat, and he takes the ko back. And then white makes this, which now works, because since there isn't a stone right here, now if black doesn't respond and he takes a ko, then now white can simply jump out, and this isn't in effect anymore because it doesn't take these stones. And also this group right here will be very weak, and white will really be strong pretty much everywhere. There's not much that black can do to try to make this group weak. There's some cutting points and stuff, but it's not much. And he'll have this weak group, white will be pretty much strong everywhere, so this would not be good for black. So he needs to respond to this move. Oh, I'm sorry, white pushed once more earlier on. I missed that, sorry. And then black has to respond to this by stopping it. Excuse me. And then white would take a, I'm sorry, take a ko. White takes back the ko. Takes back the ko. And then white makes a move so that he knows his group in here is alive. But at this point black doesn't have to respond to it, because if white plays here, then his group right here won't be as weak as it was before, because this stone is blocking him from really attacking effectively. So now black can take the ko, and now he's alive in the bottom. White makes sure he's alive, And then it's important right here for white not to just do something like this, because black can just block or play away or something. This move is very common to play this move on the second line right here, when you're like strong in this area, because most of the time black can't do this. The reason why in this case is because if black tries to do this, then white can go over the top and take the stones. So it's good many times to look at this move right here on the second line when you have this stone like a knight's move off the second line. You're strong over here. It's good to take a look at it, because a lot of times, well, there's a good amount of times that it does work, because either you capture the stone down here or you get out to the center or something. So black stops it, and then black first place here, because playing here would be very bad for white, because he'd be very confined and now his group would be weak. So he needs to extend. Remember, Hani at the head of 2 or 3 stones. Black protects. White takes a stone. And then black just jumps out. So, this is a very complicated variation, and I'm not expecting anyone really to know this. I don't think it's very needed to know this variation. But I thought it was very interesting, especially since this was a very new variation. It wasn't played very often. Excuse me. I do believe this particular variation is the first time it was played, and really shows you the strength they had to be able to play it this very nicely, where all the groups are alive, and it's basically Josuke. Although I think in this variation, actually, me personally anyways, I think black is a little bit better off, because these stones over here work very nicely with this. So now he never has to come back for these stones. Although he does have this weak group, but white also kind of has a weak group right here. So I would say it's pretty equal right here anyways, I think anyways. So when he takes, black has to make the eye, because this eye is false. And then white goes ahead and makes a base for himself, while threatening like an undercut or something later. So black goes ahead and connects so this group isn't weak. It's also aiming at an extension here. So white goes ahead and takes away the extension. And now black does a far pincer. Really, the only difference between a closer pincer and a far pincer is how much pressure you want to put on the stone, and how much you want to do for the rest of the board. So if you want to do something more on this side of the board, pincer farther away from the stone. If you want to put more pressure on the stone so that it's running harder and stuff, or you maybe even want to kill it, maybe if there's enough strength in the center, do a closer pincer. But here this is very open, so it's a nice idea to do a wide pincer like this, because there's a lot to develop on the top side. So right here, white does something I think is very interesting, and he counter pincers. This means he doesn't care too much about this stone, and he's just going to let black get this, and he's going to get his own stuff over here. So first black takes away the base of the stone, so he can't do any weird connection underneath or anything later. And then right here, I think white does something very, very smart. Our first inclination would probably be to do something like either keep more pressure on this side, maybe try to go aim for a connection underneath, simply go up and try to escape. But if they do something like this, or try to make a group over here or something, it's obvious where this group would have to run. It would have to run towards the center. And if that happened, black would get a lot of strength in here. And that would mean this group would get a whole lot weaker. And considering it only has one eye and is surrounded by black stones, it's a very bad idea to try to run two groups in the same part of the board where you're going to be making your opponent strong. So it's very smart for white right now to see that this group if he tries to run this group out somehow, let's say he does this, and black jumps out, and he tries to run out this way, or something. And he's going to be having this weak group to deal with and this weak group to deal with, and they're both in the same part of the board, and black's going to get very strong, and most likely one of them is going to die. So he goes ahead, and before this stone is very valuable, he just strengthens his group with this move, which I think is very smart. So now, black reduces the Yaji, tries to make it so that stone can't live. Then white makes a little bit of a peep to aim for a connection or something up, while strengthening this group and possibly reducing this side. And right here also I think is another thing that many Q players should know, including myself, is to keep on attacking and don't just give in to your opponent. Right here I'd be very inclined to block somehow to make sure this connection couldn't happen. What black does is even better, because he keeps on attacking and tries to make this group weaker to try to cut it off. So right here, white does another very nice thing, which is this little probe, if you will, to make this have a little bit more Aji in here, so that he might be able to try for some type of a Ko or something later. You'll see this actually does come in handy later. And then he just Nobis to make himself stronger to prevent the cut. Black makes a little bit of a strange move right here. I'm supposing this is to keep his opponent in Gote and keep him worried about the cut, but I'm not completely sure about this move, so if there is some type of special meaning behind it, I'm not quite sure.